Todd, you guys got a game tonight?
Yeah, yeah. So we play Ottawa, Arizona tonight.
Oh, good, good. Okay, cool. We'll connect after that because we are officially live here with our junior national team coaches. First and foremost, welcome to everybody who is tuned in here live, as well as those individuals who are going to be tuning in a little bit later to potentially watch this as a replay. My name is Charles Terwoodzo. I go by CT. I'm head of player personnel for our U.S. national teams. And today we're going to be having an opportunity to get a little bit of behind the scenes look, if you will, with our national team coaches as we embark on our junior trials this year in 2026. So with that, again, my name is Charles Terwoodzo. I go by CT. Folks that are watching live, please feel free to shoot your questions in. We'll see if we can't answer them. I think we have a really, really good run of show here. But with that, today's purpose of this conversation is, again, to kind of walk through who our coaches are, introduce our coaches to the masses, and then also kind of give a little bit of a behind the scenes look as to what our national team trials typically look like. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to our coaches. We'll go head coach, assistant coach, and then as our quality control coach. In your intro, please give your name, your role, your coaching background, and then kind of the experience that you've had with the U.S. national team. So with that, Todd, I will hand the mic over to you, sir.
Okay.
Nate, Ty, can you hear him?
I cannot.
I can't either. I think I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi over here. Off to a tough start. So Todd, I don't know if you can hear me, but we're going to go ahead and segue straight to Nate because for some reason it looks like your Wi-Fi is not wanting to cooperate this evening. So with that, Nate would.
You wanna do ladies first? Have Ty go first.
You know what? I like that idea. Ty, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ty Johnson. My coaching background, I've been the coach at Pace Academy High School out of Atlanta, Georgia for the past 6 years. And this is my second year with USA Football as the quality control coach. So I'm excited for trials coming up.
Awesome. Awesome. Nate?
My name is Nathan Williams, assistant coach for U15 girls this year. I've been coaching in the adult world in the adult world since 2014. Started coaching in the youth world about 2022. I've been working with USA Football for this is year 4. I used to talent evaluator, scout, regional director, so all the hats. Definitely excited about working with Todd and Ty this upcoming year. I think it's going to be great. So we're definitely looking forward to what's in store for us this upcoming season.
I love it. No, that's great background from you too. And I'll jump in and kind of speak on behalf of our guy Todd. If he comes in, we'll pass the mic to him. But Todd has been with USA Football for a handful of years now. He was our assistant coach for our 17U boys last year, and actually this year with the 15U girls will be now his third national team that he's been able to coach. So perfect timing. There he is, Todd. So we'll kick back to you. Hopefully you have a little bit of better luck with the Wi-Fi. Go ahead.
All right. So Todd Thompson, head coach of the 15U girls junior national team. It's my third year with USA Football. The last couple on the boys side with the 15U and 17U boys. Currently assistant head coach at Nevada State University and run Apex Predators.
Awesome. Great. Well, that's a great introduction for these three individuals. Again, we have the utmost respect for you three, and we're excited to see y'all out there in Chula Vista this year. So with that, let's go ahead and just jump straight into the questions. Todd, we'll ask you first, and we'll kind of go around the gamut here. But what are you most looking forward to at this year's U.S. National Team Junior Trials?
I'm really excited. I think we have, through all our scouting and all the hard work that the USA people have done, I think we got the 40 best athletes, flag football players coming in this year in their age group. So I'm really looking forward to see that competition. Anytime you get the best going against the best and watching them compete, it's real exciting as a coach.
Absolutely. Ty, we'll kick to you next. Same question. What are you most looking forward to at trials this year?
Really, seeing the talent, seeing everybody come together and really compete, go head to head. Seeing some of the girls from last year, just kind of being able to connect with them, see how much they've improved, but also the family of USA football. I don't think people realize how close and tight knit all of the coaches are. So being able to be in that environment where it's just high level football, high level coaches IQ all around just makes you better every single time. So looking forward to all of that.
Awesome. And then Nate, will have you round that out. So as far as what you're looking forward to this year, you're a
I
vet.
think for
So
me, being in Chula Vista, it's at the Olympic Center, so I think that's going to be a cool environment for the, for these young girls to experience, for their parents to experience as well. To me, the best, I'm most excited about working with Todd and Ty over the next couple of months. We've been collaborating a lot since we've been announced. So I think we have a good coaching staff, and I'm looking forward to, like what Todd and Ty said, just seeing these young ladies go out here and compete to earn these, 18 spots.
also, I'm going to ask one quick follow-up to Todd, just because, with this now being year 3 as a national team coach, you've been on the guy side a little bit. You talked about Apex, as we all know, one of the most premier club teams around the country, as well as Fury. But the question is for you, Todd, what is it that you're looking forward to that may be a little bit different on the girl side versus the boy side?
I don't know, like, offhand, if I can point out like a real difference. Like, I think, the high level competition is there on the boy side and the girl side. So for me, it's not a huge change. The expectations are the same. The work's going to be the same. The girls are going to get treated the same. I mean, the practices and those scrimmages and the competition is going to be a high level. So those expectations don't change. I think we got a really good staff, so we're all going to impart our expertise on it and let it roll.
I love it. I love it. Then Nate, I'll ask you this next question first. So from a coach's perspective, right, what should athletes expect when they arrive on site in Chula Vista?
There's gonna be a lot of evaluation processes. I would say when you arrive on time. Arrive 10 minutes early. Don't arrive on time. Arrive early. There's gonna be a lot of structure from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's gonna be a professional environment. So if you've never been like in a job setting, I would say treat this as an interview, because anyone who you're talking to or you're speaking with, that's an evaluation process. So it's going to be a lot of evaluation, a lot of competition. You're gonna meet some new people you've never met before, so definitely take that in as well. But like I said, definitely it's gonna be a professional environment, and it's top notch.
Awesome. Well, and we'll segue into Ty, right? So again, you were with the 15U girls last year. This year's a brand new year, a lot of new faces. So what should athletes expect when they arrive at Chula Vista for trials?
Kind of to piggyback off what Nate said, like the moment you arrive, you're clocking in. Like look at this as a job and something that you are trying to eventually, get to that level. So how you interact with the other girls, with your coaches, with the staff, with everybody, with the people that serve you food or get you water or anything. Like it's all about how you treat people, how you handle yourself, and how you conduct yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you want to represent USA across your chest, then and anytime you have to act like you are representing USA. It's the standard.
I like it. No, you both touched on a couple of things that are really important. And I want to underline, this is a job interview in a lot of ways. This is one of our younger age groups, but that does not take away from the fact that the second that you set foot in Chula Vista at the Olympic Training Center, it's time to clock in, and it's really time to start locking in and get ready to take what's yours in a lot of ways, right? So the 40 best athletes are going to be there. So who stands out from that perspective? Next question here, Todd, is for you. So what separates, in your opinion, a good athlete from an athlete who really truly stands out, right? We talk about the depth of players that are coming this year, best that we've ever seen up until this point. So what, in your opinion, is going to separate a good athlete from what we would consider a great athlete?
And I think, and I want to tie back into that last question. So you got the effort, you got, being coachable, football IQ, being consistent out there, but also, and it ties back into what they can expect. Those athletes are gonna go through a holistic evaluation. The way that they sit through meetings, the way that they walk to the field, the way that they interact with their teammates, everything is going to be evaluated, right? And that's important to know. And that's also part of what makes a good athlete that we're looking at, to represent the USA when we go to these international competitions.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I think the consistency is something I really want to underline from that response. There is, we've seen a lot of athletes from juniors to adults, from 15 to 17s, and every one of the players that's going to be in Chula Vista is going to be a really, really good player, and they're going to be able to make plays. That's why they're there. But to your point, Todd, you have to be consistent, and you have to be able to play at that level day in and day out, snap after snap, right? So that's a big piece of it. Ty, kind of to dovetail off that question, same question. What separates a good athlete from what you would consider a great athlete that would stand out at trials?
For me, and especially my role, like I look at the intangibles. So how you react when you make a mistake, how you treat your teammates when they make a mistake. Are you lifting them up? Are you criticizing? How is your body language when something isn't going your way? How do you respond? How do you treat everyone? So whether it's your coach, your teammate, the high performance staff, or just people who are helping out around the fields, just kind of taking note to everything that the girls are doing, because like you guys said, everybody's here for a reason. So what's going to make you stand apart? And those are the little things for me.
I like it. I like it. And not to be too repetitive, but Nate, I'm curious what your take is on. I know Ty and Todd just mentioned a handful of really, really good traits that they're going to be looking for as far as what'll have athletes stand out. But Nate, what's your take on separating the good athletes from the great athletes when they get to trials?
I'll say for me, level of effort, like how, because everyone's, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be equal. Like if it's quarterback play, wide receiver play, DB play, linebacker play, like what are you doing to set yourself? What are you doing to set yourself apart from person A to person B? Because if there's a tie, you have to make sure that you're going to don't go 100%, go 200%, go 150%. Die for that flag, die for that ball. You have to make sure you're doing things to make yourself stand out, because the level of competition is going to be, it's going to be a tight level of competition. You're not going to win every game that you're playing this weekend. That's going to be impossible. But that's where what's your character when you're down, or when you're down, or when you're up, and then you come back and you lose the game. So we'll be looking at those things as well, because it's you can't measure someone's competitiveness if they're never in a tight game. So like these games in these situations, they're going to be tight, and that's where Todd and Todd, myself, we want to see that, and we want to see who those dogs are in that environment.
I love it. I love it. And then what we'll do, we'll shuffle the deck here a little bit. Nate, I'm going to ask you this question first. Then we'll kind of go opposite around as we answer it. So how important would you say is mindset and professionalism during this entire trials process?
To me, it's the most important. It's the most important thing, because you can be an A plus 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 player, but if you don't have that mentality of, oh, we're going out here and killing, or hey, I'm not professional, or hey, look, that's where you could be an A plus person. You can be an A plus on the field, but if your character is like a D minus, or that mentality is you don't have that mentality of, hey, look, we're gonna win this game no matter what. That's part of that. That's part of this process as well. So like what you do on the field matters, but how you're carrying yourself from that mentality and being professional truly matters as well.
Awesome. Ty, same question for you, right? As far as the mindset and carrying yourself, the body language that you present yourself with, how important is the professionalism and the mindset for these athletes at trials?
Very important. I mean, it goes back to the letters that you're wearing on the chest. So as we fight to get flag football on the same level as other sports, and we're getting there, you're no different than Steph Curry when he represents the USA for the basketball team. Like what you're doing, your mindset, your professionalism is at the same level. If we want flag football to grow, we have to treat it as such. And that's where we are now. We are at a history-making level for this game. So what you do matters, actually sets the tone and the precedent for the rest of the years to come. So I think it's a great opportunity, and you should treat it as such.
I love it. That's really good perspective. And then Todd, I'll have you finish out that same question as far as professionalism during trials, how athletes carry themselves, how they communicate, are they showing leadership, right? Kind of walk us through your take on that and how much that weighs into the whole evaluation process.
That can actually make or break your chances at trials, right? I mean, the road of examples is long, right? Of players that were good enough on the field, but didn't do the right things in the professional way. Because again, this is a professional environment. We're asking athletes to represent the country, and so with that comes a different level of expectations, a different level of professionalism, and that you got 3 days to show that you're capable of that, and that goes beyond the field. So you know obviously when you get in this type of situation, your mindset should be every rep matters, right? When you get on the field, you take a rep, it's got to matter, but also every other little thing you do while you're there has to matter, or you have to understand that it matters too. So it's a huge component.
Awesome. And I'm sure some of those things too, you being able to coach at the collegiate level, I'm sure you're looking for very similar things when it comes to that as well. So I love that answer. So then, Ty, I'll ask you this question. We'll go round robin, and then after that, we'll kind of get some final thoughts as we kind of come up on 30 minutes here. But with this fifth question, Ty, for you, what advice would you give athletes to best prepare them as they're coming into trials?
I would say by this point, I mean, the physical already has to be there. So from now on, it's just your mindset, your effort, what you're going to put in front, how you're going to treat people, the attitude that you have. Like, show us your personality as well. Like, we want to see athletes, we want to see who you are because that shows up on the field as well. So just be yourself, put your 100% best effort forth, and like you'll be fine. But I think it's just a combination of the physical that you already should have been prepared for, making sure that you're eating correctly, hydrating throughout the weekend, paying attention to those little things that's going to help you perform better. And then that mental health just matters. Like, you're here for a reason, so believe that.
I love it. I think one thing that I want to underline there before we jump in with Todd and Nate on the same question is, how you're fueling your body matters, right? If you start to feel like you're dehydrated, then you're already behind the eight ball. So athletes that are watching this, parents that are watching this, you haven't got on your flight yet, but make sure that you're getting those electrolytes in yourself. Make sure that you're hydrating. Make sure that you're at the most peak that you could possibly be when you take the field in Chula Vista here in the next handful of days, because this is going to be a rigorous test. But again, the cream always rises to the top, right? So, but with that, I'll go ahead and ask Todd the same question as far as advice for these athletes and these prospects that are going to be coming out to the Olympic Training Center in these next couple of days. What would you say is a good piece of advice to have them prepared before they step on the field?
So football wise, right? The 40 athletes we have coming, they should all be ready, right? Or they wouldn't have got that invite. But physically they say, right? Like, if you wait to hydrate to that day, it's too late. Do the little things that people are telling you to do so you're physically ready. Once you get down there, don't load up on the brownies just because they're available. You know, we had that last year. And then the mental side, just understand the situation you're in, but also take advantage of that, right? Like, you get an opportunity this week to be around the 39 of the, including yourself, 40 best players in your age group in the country, and some really dynamite coaches. Take that all in. One of the biggest things for me is ask questions, not just of the coaches, but of the other players that you get a chance to play with this weekend. Take something back with you, as far as what this weekend will give you. So ask those questions, be mentally ready, be physically ready, take care of yourself, and it's time to ball out.
I love it. I love it. I got to underline one of the things you just said there is the questions part of it. I love when athletes come up to me and ask me questions. I understand players, parents, whoever's watching, there are no dumb questions. You don't know what you don't know. And frankly, our job is to be there to provide you answers. And if we don't have the answers right then and there, we'll make sure that we get you the answers, right? So no question should be left unanswered. No stone should be left unturned. But again, you're able to engage with the coaches. We want to know that you care about what's going on. So if you have any questions throughout the whole duration of trials, find any one of these three coaches, Nate, Ty, Todd, whoever it is, ask them the questions, because again, we want to make sure that y'all are in the best position to perform at the best of your ability. And with that, Nate, I want to hear yours as well, as far as best advice, tips, or tricks for athletes that are getting ready to fly out to Chula.
I'll say something different from Todd and Ty. So we're not all saying the same thing. I would say know your competition.
Mm,
There's 40 people there, so there's a lot of people. For the most part, 15U, they've all posted they're going. So I challenge anyone to know your personnel, know who's going. Watch home team film from the summer series from last year. The 15U games on there. All the games are on there. So utilize use technology to make it to your advantage. Don't go into a fight not knowing who you're fighting. You should know before you step on the field, hey, this is who my competitor are. This is who my competition is. So definitely understand that you might be coming with some friends, but not all friends are going to make it. It's going to go from 40 to 18. So definitely understand the importance of knowing when to be friends off the field, but when you're on the field, you gotta show that. Make us remember who you are. You gotta have that mentality.
I love it. No, those are all really good things. I think we kind of touched on all the big three, right? So physical preparation, mental readiness, understanding the expectations that you're getting ready to walk into. Those are all things that athletes have to be aware of as they partake in our national team trials for 2026. So this is an exciting time. Again, I appreciate the time from everybody on the call tonight, but I do want to give one opportunity for any final thoughts. One final piece of advice, if you want to leave any athletes attending trials, one thing that they should remember from this call, and we'll go ahead and start with Todd on that one.
Don't leave anything in Chula Vista this weekend. Don't leave anything there. Don't leave a rep there. Don't leave 1 ounce of effort there. Don't leave with any regrets. Control what you can control, right? And that's doing everything you can to make that team, right? Don't leave there and say, oh, if I would have just done this, or if I would have done, leave it all there. Leave it all there, and then whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But leave it all there.
That's a good one, Nate.
I'll say for me, showing you can be versatile, showing you can play both sides of the ball. Just because you're a dog on one position, if there's a tie between you at wide receiver and you that didn't play DB, guess what? Now you have a problem. So definitely, we're gonna showcase that you can play both sides of the ball. But you have to make sure you can play both sides of the ball. I would say also just from a communication standpoint, for transparency, me, Todd, Ty, we talk all the time. We're in a group chat. We literally talk all the time. So if one of us missed something, they're going to inform the other two. So it's a circle of trust with us, and we definitely, we want to make sure we have the best product possible. So, but just realize communication from us, versatility from you, show that you're a dog, like I said before, because the more positions you can play, the better off you're going to be.
That's a great one. That's a great one. And then Ty, one last thing you want to leave them with, and I actually have one more question. Looks like it came from somebody that's in the chat. So Ty, one piece of advice, then I'm going to circle back with one additional question.
I'll say kind of on a different take outside of the X's and O's. Todd kind of touched on it, but this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, or, if you were here last year, so be proud of yourself for it. This is the experience that millions of other girls would want to have. So take advantage of it, take it all in, soak it all in, but also be a dog, be your best self these next, 3 or 4 days. Like, you have to present yourself at your best. And if you have a weak moment, that body language, that energy matters. So make sure that body language is always on point. We know that you're going to mess up, but it's about how you respond. So always respond better.
I love it. Response is always going to be how you're graded, right? I mean, obviously, as someone who's played football, I think we can relate to this. If you drop a pass, it's part of it. How do you respond? How do you go out there, and how do you compete the next rep? And we have a couple more minutes, and we do have a really good question that came in here. So it says, is it recommended to be does being a versatile player increase the odds of making the team? And what do you say to an athlete who isn't quite as versatile, but they're the most elite at one single position? And anyone can take that one.
Go ahead, Todd.
So I always say, right, positional excellence and or position versatility, right? I had the pleasure for the last 4 years in high school and in club and going forward in college of coaching Akemi, right? Akemi doesn't play anything but quarterback. Just so happens she happens to be pretty good at quarterback, right?
Right.
So there's a positional excellence. There's a lot to be said about that, right? If you do one thing, just make sure you do it well. There's a lot to be said about position versatility as well. But again, positional excellence is what it is. If you're the best receiver in the world, that'll probably get you pretty far.
I like it. I like it. Ty, Nate, anything else you want to add in regard to versatility versus being singly best at a position?
I mean, it's hard to deny when someone is the best at their position. If you're the best rusher out there, we're going to see it. If you're the best receiver out there, we're going to see it. So if that's what you guys are worried about, then be the best at what you can be. But yes, versatility does help and it does matter.
Yeah, and like Todd's point, like I know, even like when Ashley was on the U15, U17 team, like she played both positions. She played offense, defense. But if you can only play one thing, make sure you're her in that position, because you can play one thing, but you have to make sure like you're 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. Everyone else is 2. So definitely make sure we'll take those players as well, but make sure, like I said, make sure you leave it with no question from CT, Ty, Todd, Callie, John, Eric, anybody like myself. Make sure to leave no doubt if, hey, look, I'm only going to do this and I'm going to show you why. We're fine with that. We love people to prove points to us.
I love it. I think that's a great answer, and I think that's probably a really good one to end on. It's, to everyone's point on this call, versatility is great if you're able to be the absolute apex, the number one receiver, the number one quarterback, the number one rusher, DB, whatever it is. Make sure that you are just that, the number one, right? As we all know, going to the Olympics in 2028 with those adult teams, the roster is going to be a lot smaller, right? So it's instead of the 12, which is what we roll with now for IFAF and for our junior national teams, it's going to be 10 in the Olympics in 2028. So versatility is going to be at a premium. So with that said, make sure that you're contributing, you're adding value any way that you possibly can. And I'll leave it there. So again, y'all, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much. Everybody travel safe. I'm super excited to see everybody in person. But with that, that concludes our 15U live conversation tonight. Thank y'all. Going through all of our junior national team coaching staffs as we talk about our junior national team trials that are coming up. So consider this a preview. This is your official behind the scenes look and a little bit of a background on what to expect when you get out to Chula Vista for our junior national team activation. So before we get going, a quick introduction for myself. My name is Charles Terwoodzo. I go by CT. I'm head of player personnel here at USA Football and for our U.S. national teams. And tonight we have a great opportunity to have a conversation with a couple of our coaches for the 15U boys, Jesse Murrow as well as Wilson. But before we jump in, unfortunately, our head coach for the 15U boys national team will not be able to make it. His name is Coach John Nagapin. So Coach Nagapin has a lot of accolades. I want to make sure I get this right. So back-to-back New York State high school champions in 2024 and 2025. Also, he won the 2024 NFL Flag Championship and also won the 2025 NFL Flag Championship B bracket with the G-Men. So Coach Nagapin is an incredible individual. Hate that he cannot be here tonight, but totally understand that he had a couple other things pressing as far as his career and job go. So with that, what we'll do is I'll give it over to our assistant head coach, Jesse Murrow. So real quick, Jess, if you would, name, your role, as well as your coaching background, and walk us through briefly your experience with the U.S. national teams.
Awesome. Thanks, CT. And as regard to John, he is in surgery right now. So, and that's kind of what he does for a living. On the outside, he works in an emergency room and helps out with surgery. So that's why he can't be here. But I'm Jesse Murrow out of Connecticut. Played a lot of different sports growing up, played football in high school, played football for about a year in college, transferred to UConn, actually was a practice player for the women's team, and then went out into the world. And since then, I played a lot of flag football. And then I started playing co-ed, which was new to me. Playing co-ed got me introduced more women's players, which led me to coaching Ladies Supreme, really probably the best, pat ourselves in the back, contact women's team ever, and a competitive non-contact team as well. That experience and guiding those teams and getting that camaraderie got me more interested in coaching flag. From there, I got involved with a program called Lady Matrix out of Connecticut, and also got involved with talent ID camps through USA Football. Through those, found my way to the first Select Bowl, won the 14U Division Gold Medal at Select Bowl, which I was pretty proud of. And honestly, that got me really interested in continuing the pathway of the USA. I applied for the assistant coaching job for the 15U boys. Lucky enough, got it. And have sort of been running ever since with the team, winning a gold medal last year and returning this year, hoping to do the same. And now the club program I'm with is actually Jets Elite. It's a program where our 14U team is fully funded by the Jets team, which is creating a ton of opportunity for girls in the Northeast. And I'm kind of blessed to be a part of that and guide that initiative.
Love it. I love it, Jesse. You walked us through the full gamut of Jesse and what he does. Again, the amount of value this man adds to this program, it cannot be encapsulated even in words. So I appreciate that. With that, we'll go ahead and pass it over to our quality control coach, Mr. Wilson Naboa.
Hey, appreciate that, CT. What's up, Jesse? What's up, everybody? So, Coach Will Naboa here. I'm out of Hawaii, Ever Beach, Hawaii, to be specific. So, my football journey began when I was in high school, played high school football, played basketball, ran track. When I went to college, I was recruited for basketball. Could jump out the gym, So, but I joined in the military. Shortly thereafter, I joined the military. So, I was in charge of, when I was down at Fort Drum, the on-post tackle team. So I coached the older guys there as far as our on-post team. Deployed a couple of times, came back, and then found myself working my way to youth football. Just always been part of sports is who I am. Made my rounds around high school here once I first got back to the islands. And then I started my youth program for, I guess, the flag football side. This is probably about 15, 16 years ago, the West Coast Tigers. We integrated ourselves everywhere. Coached currently right now with Campbell High School for the head coach for the girls flag. We are the defending and reigning inaugural state champions. This is our second season. We just started practice back up for the girls about 2 weeks ago. Started our preseason. On the flip side, on the high school circuit, I also coach on the boys side. I'm a co-OC as well as the wide receiver coach. But once I started going to the girls flag, I kind of just tailored everything towards that. And I know people keep trying to drag me back into the tackle world, but I love coaching the girls. I love coaching the boys, so love where I'm at. Got the opportunity when USA Football came down to Hawaii, got to work with DK and the staff for Talent ID Camp. Fortunate enough to get invited to go to LA Summit Series, where I led our 14U boys white team to the gold medal. And, was able to get, I guess, a call to help, Jesse and John, and hopefully we can run the thing back for the 15U boys and do our thing and win gold. So super excited. But been playing football, tackle and flag my whole life, coaching it, high school, youth. I get a lot of the college players that come down, even the pros. So I work with, Dylan and Tua, and whenever they come down, just most recently, Marcus Mariota, we co-sponsored an event where we got like a whole bunch of flag athletes to go to 808 Pro Day for us for free. So a lot of things I work with, a lot of quarterback coaches around the country, like Drew from Quarterback Influence. So yeah, anywhere I can help, excited to meet everybody and get to work.
Love it. Jess, do you have something I think I saw you raise your hand. What's up?
Yeah, I realized I have one more. So I'm currently in a computer lab at UConn because we had our UConn club team practice tonight. So shout out to them. Didn't want to leave them out as I sit in a computer lab on their campus.
Yeah, you gotta give the Huskies some love, man. I mean, you're on their campus as we speak, so I hear you. And real quick too, I gotta ask you two both this question, right? Just because it popped into my head as we're going through the intros, right? We just got off with the 15U girls. We had Nevada represented. We had in Todd. We had Texas represented in Nate. We had Georgia represented in Ty. Now we have Jesse here, who's in Connecticut currently. And we also have Coach Will, who is from Hawaii, right? So I think that right there, just between these last two conversations, we've literally spanned the entire country, right? This is the U.S. national team, and we take that national piece extremely serious. So great intro, gentlemen. I think that y'all's background, obviously, it speaks for itself, and your resume speaks for itself. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into the questions, right? Again, we only have two of our coaches from our 15U boys here, but I think that they're going to give some really, really good insight as far as what to expect when we get out to Chula Vista for our national team junior trials. So with that, first question, Jesse, I'll hit you with this first, and then Wilson, you can go ahead and follow up. But what are you most looking forward to at our junior national team trials this year?
The energy and the competition, right? It's just getting to see some of the best athletes in the country, the best athletes in the world, really, really compete, also build some camaraderie, meet people from across the country, engage and compete, become a team to some extent. It's just, man, that energy is going to be so infectious. That's what I'm most excited about.
I love it. I love it. Will, you're up.
Oh, sorry, I'm outside. Had to hit on mute. But what I'm looking forward to is, being around some of the elite competitors as well as, elite coaching staff, because this is obviously the pinnacle of flag football, right? To be able to represent your country, being retired military, I know what it means to, don the red, white, and blue just in the different capacity. So looking forward to, being able to represent and help everyone understand what it means to actually truly represent USA flag football at the highest level. So excited to meet everybody and get started. And like Jesse said, hopefully, we can start to round everybody out, build a camaraderie and, the esprit de corps and just, get the team unity going. So ready to start vibing.
I love it. I love it. Vibes are already high just based on the conversation that we're having. Real quick, Wilson, before you go on mute again, Jesse mentioned that he's at UConn on campus currently. It looks like you're on a football field of some sort. Where are you currently at?
No. So actually, for my job on the outside, I'm the chief operations for Hawaii. So I run all the Army installations. So right now I'm like at one of our sites. As you can see, I'm outside running around, checking on some things with everything going around the world. So, just outdoors right now.
I love it. A man of the people, truly a man of the people. Okay, great. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and hit the next question. Jesse, I'll hit you with this question first. But so from a coach's perspective, right? What should athletes expect when they arrive at trials? Anything from the environment, the evaluation, the level of the competition, et cetera. What should athletes be anticipating as they get out there to Chula Vista?
That's a good question. It goes back to that first answer, right? Competition. I think we've got truly some elite athletes coming in, but we're not just looking for elite athletes, right? We're looking to build a team, some cohesion. So they should be ready to compete, but they should be ready to bring what they're special at. I think we could even loop in one of the questions from the Rush King, like what can they do to increase their odds if they're, if they're really focused on a particular position. And, to that, I always say the same thing I'd give to this answer. You need to be ready to compete, but show what you do best, right? And I think if you're the best receiver at trials, look, you're probably going to make the 18, right? So if you're a specialist and you are number one, you're probably going to make the 18. If you're the best DB, if you're the best rusher, if you're the best quarterback, but that could only be 7-8 people total, right? Who are the best and get a spot because of that. So then you need to compete. You need to show your communication. You need to show your skill. You need to show what you're good at. And I think that to me is the sweet spot. And particularly for the 15U boys, we've really set up a lot of competitions, a one-on-one competition, a 3-on-3 competition, like literally a tournament, right? Where all three teams play each other and then there's a championship. So we really want to see you guys go at it, compete, and show how you're like in game situations, because we're going to be competing against the best in the world, at an international tournament attended by thousands. So we want to put you in those types of settings.
I love it. I love it. And Wilson, before we ask you the same question, for those folks that are tuned in live, again, welcome. To those that are just joining, we've already had a couple really, really good questions come in the chat. So again, if you're in live and you have anything that you're curious about regarding national team trials, junior national team trials, please do not hesitate. Shoot it into the chat. They'll relay those over to us, and then we'll be able to answer some additional questions aside from the questions that I have here listed. So, but with that, Wilson, same question for you that I just asked Jesse, right? So, from a coach's perspective, what can athletes expect? What should they be anticipating as they start to make their way out to Chula Vista for trials?
Well, there's one thing I can certainly tell you: expect high standards, or like we like to say, right, is the gold standard. So you're going to get the best of the best coaching, as well as elite athletes from around the U.S. to compete against. But more importantly, we're not just looking for skill. I know Jesse touched on it a little bit, but we're looking for young men with high character too, right? So kids that are coachable, able to learn. And at the end of the day, whether you make the team or not, I can guarantee you we're going to invest in you. So when you do go back, you're going to have the next, some more tools that you can put in your bag that can hopefully help you, whether that means you do make the U.S. national team or not. So our goal at the end of the day is to make you better, make you compete, grow, and stretch you in ways, hopefully that you can use in your high school career.
I love it. The next question that we have here is, so Jesse, you can start with this one as well. So what would you say separates a good athlete from a great athlete at national team trials? As we all know, right, this is going to be the deepest pool of athletes that are going to be attending this year's trial that we've ever had up until this point. So every athlete that's going to be there is going to be an exceptional player. What are you looking for as far as that takes a player from being good to great to even exceptional?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with, I think there's like peaks and valleys, right? Where if you have a truly special trait, right? If you're one of those people that can float in the air or runs the fastest 40 or can stop on a dime, show what makes you special, and lean on that thing, and obviously try to be well-rounded as well, but show what makes you unique. But overall, to me, a differentiating factor is people who truly understand what this thing is and want to be here, right? Understand they're representing their country, understand they're taking on competition throughout the world, and wants to battle and wants to put everything they have on the table. I always think of, one of our 2 MVPs last year. His name was Trey Newton, and, he came in and we said, we're going to start you at safety. We're not going to start you on offense. He was the best in the world, in my opinion. He wasn't worried about that, right? So then at a certain point, we had people, like all receivers do, talking about, I want the ball. And I pulled him aside in front of everybody, and I said, Trey, who's the best receiver here? And he said, I am. And I said, where do you play? And he said, defense. And I said, do you have a problem with that? He's like, no. And that level of understanding and humility based on like what we're trying to do as a unified team, man, that was just so special. So it's just showing your unique traits and then bringing that humility and goal orientation. I think is just so huge.
Great answer, Jess. Great answer. Wilson, I'll pass to you now as far as what's going to separate the good from the great. That's a tough one to follow up, but I'm interested in what you got to say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody has the skills, the abilities, and the traits physically, and your God-given talent. But for me, what separates the good from the great, like I tell people, be lucky. Don't be lucky, just be great. But honestly, is your work ethic and your discipline. Because when talent meets talent, what's going to separate you when everybody around the country, is just as fast, just as strong, can jump just as high. So for me, it's always being able to, when you are put in those situations, being able to fall back on your fundamentals and technique. Because at the end of the day, technique and consistency in your discipline is just what's going to separate you from when talent meets talent. And a lot of people, you have to have that mental resilience and intestinal fortitude, because a lot of people are just used to being the best players on the field, right? So now you're competing against the best in the country. How are you going to be able to mentally, your mental capacity to rebound if, you drop a ball? Because again, like you're used to catching everything, but if someone's really on you and they're playing sticky, how are you going to respond? So I'm just really looking forward to those individuals who can stand out and be resilient, because I know, Jesse had touched on it. There's going to be ebbs and flows in trials, and even when you make it to training camp. So it's about consistency, discipline, and work ethic. But really, that's what's going to put you over the top, because eventually, especially when you guys get to college, right, everyone's going to be the best that was in their best hometown or whatever the case is. This is just now at the, 15U level. So just be ready for that. And, it's about a mental thing. I always say it's about 80% mental and the 20% physical, because everyone got talents and traits, so yeah.
That's a great answer. And I think to underline a couple of things that both of you all said, I think the word came up within both the answers is consistency, right? I mean, again, as we talk about the caliber of players that are going to be there in attendance, it's going to be high level of athletes, right? So who can do it most consistently, who can continue to do it through the full duration of trials, the cream is going to ultimately rise to this top, right? I got a couple
I do
questions.
have one more thing.
Go ahead, Wilson.
I would just say, honestly, your football IQ, right? How fast you're able to process information as well. For me, that's a big thing. That is a key indicator and separator for a lot of people. Pre-snap identification and post-snap verification. So if you're able to do that, I think that's going to separate you being in the right place at the right time, even anticipating where it's going to be. So for me, that's one of the big factors.
I love it. That's a great add. I'm happy you added that point in there because that takes you to the next level, to your point, right? A lot of people can go out there and make plays. If you can diagnose what the defense is or the offense is doing pre-snap, that's going to take you just a little bit further than the individual that can't do it. So that's a great point. Well, I'm happy you mentioned that part of it. Okay, next question that I got, and I'm going to roll through mine, and we have a couple that are flowing in here through the chat organically. So we'll jump to the organic ones after we cover these next two. But the question is, how important would you say, Jesse? We'll start. Or, you know what, Will? We'll start with you for this one. How important would you say is mindset and professionalism during this whole process?
Honestly, I think it's paramount, right? I mean, I know I mentioned it from the beginning, but I just want to see those people that are able to interact and, honestly rebound in the event that you're not doing something well. Because, again, at the end of the day, there's going to be drop balls, there's going to be, missed assignments, but how do you respond to the next play? And that's the key separator for me of what makes a great player is the next play is the next great play, right? So not dwelling on the fact that you made a mistake, but how you actually learn and apply it on the field. So growth and, just being able to stretch and overcome.
Awesome. Jesse, how important would you say that professionalism and an individual's mindset is during this full evaluation at trials?
Huge. I mean, right? It's on our hats. It's on all our gear. We're USA football, right? We're not football USA. We're not just football. We're representing our country, right? And I think that comes with standards and standards we need to meet, standards we need to maintain. And so I think having that professionalism, right? As Will said, bouncing back, being resilient, not showing frustration and things along those lines. I think it makes those around you better, right? But it also shows how strong and resilient our country is. And I think that's just massively important.
I love it. Okay, real quick. And then as far as advice, before we jump into the questions that are coming into the chat organically, one piece of advice, Jess, we'll start with you here, that you would give that would best prepare athletes as they step on the field and gear up for this year's trials.
Yeah, I mean, a couple quick hitters, right, is drink a lot of water. I don't think enough kids right now drinking a lot of water. We're going to put you through a lot over multiple days. But the biggest piece for me, it's gonna sound easy, but it's not, right? Be yourself. Have fun. You are here for a reason. We believe in you as staffs, right? We had a hand in picking who was showing up. So believe in yourself the way we believe in you. You should take this the way you take all the tournaments that all of you dominate, all the reps you dominate and things along those lines. The more composed and comfortable you are, the better you're going to perform, the better you're going to communicate. So, be yourself. Don't worry about the moment. Take advantage of it. Have fun with it.
That's a great one. Have fun, right? At the end of the day, this is a game. Right. So if you're able to have fun, you're going to be able to compete to the best of your ability. So Wilson, back to you. What would be one piece of advice that you would give these prospects as they touch down and start making their way to Chula Vista for trials this year?
I would say the biggest thing is versatility, right? Just being able to be redundant in other positions and don't just, peg yourself to be one player. I know we talked about a little bit about it earlier, but the more versatile you are, I think the more opportunities that you give yourself to be on the field, whether it's offense or defense. And again, it's at the end of the day, it's doing what's best for the team, right? And for me, I don't know. I know we touched on a little bit about it in the beginning about defense, but Kobe Bryant, right? So when he was in Team USA for the U.S. Olympic team, what did he do? He didn't want to score the ball. He went his first entire practice. He went on the defensive side of the ball, and he wanted to guard the best players except Tony practice. So, that kind of leadership and just that mentality, knowing that I'm going to be here to do what's best for the team. and more importantly, enjoy the process. I'm all about the
Mm.
process. Like, this is the microwave generation, right? Everyone wants the gold medal, but you got to get from A to B, and part of that is enjoying the process, the ups and the downs, because the downs in the valleys, you even got water in the valleys where you can grow, and in the peaks, right? It's lonely at the top, so enjoy it the whole way through. At the end of the day, every one of you deserve to be here. You got the call for a reason, so just know you're seen, you're worthy, and this is all for you. So take it all in and soak it up.
I love it. I love it. Real quick, that just reminded me of a quote that I heard, Coach Will. It's, if you're asking to win a gold medal, if you're asking to win a marathon, if you're praying to win these things, you're going to receive a pair of shoes because you're going to have to go put in work there. You're not going to receive the medal, right? So to your point, enjoy the process. The process is inevitable. And frankly, the more that you fall in love with that, the more you're going to be able to fall in love with the outcome of the process as well. So with that, I want to jump into a couple of these questions that we had. So the first one, Jesse, it's for you. With you having attended multiple Talent ID camps, how do you feel that it helped you prepare athletes for what's in store at trials?
Yeah, and I'll even loop Roz's question in. She's from Jets Elite, so she's one of my kids. But I think they're similar questions, right? Roz asked, do you feel there's any advantage to your second year going to trials? It's somewhat, but I think that's the beauty of these Talent ID camps, right? The Talent ID camps to me are a condensed version of what you're going to expect at trials. We're going to have a combine. We're going to go through some of those same drills. We're going to go through one-on-ones, 2-on-2s, right? And scrimmages. So it kind of mirrors what you're going to see at trials. So, I think everything you've experienced before, does set you up better to do it a second time. But to those people who really take advantage of those Talent ID camps and go to multiple, at the Jets Talent ID camp, there were at least 10 to 15 kids that are going to trials that went to that thing a week before. That's just extra work to put in. So I think those Talent ID camps do help prepare you. I think they're great avenues. I think it's awesome that they're, facilitated by the NFL too, and you're sometimes in those stadiums. So go there, get that work. And I think that will prepare you just as well as going in a second year because, you've gone through a lot of the same experiences.
And Jess, that's a great point. You dropped a couple crumbs there that I really want to highlight before we get into this question for Will. It was what we do at Talent IDs is very, very similar to the same run of show, the same type of ramp up that we have at our adult trials. And that's not by accident. That's designed, that's intentional. We want folks to understand what is it they're going to get themselves into and also get a little bit of a sneak peek to some extent as far as what to expect. But with that, Will, the question here that I had from the chat for you was, do you feel that there are higher expectations for those players who are attending trials than in their normal football clubs settings? And if so, why?
Well, I don't think there's higher pressure. I just think pressure is that, outside circumstance that everybody places on themselves. Because at the end of the day, everybody has the ability to do it. I know there's a little bit more eyes on, supposedly it's a higher level, but as far as added expectation, I think, as long as you just keep the main thing, I know that sounds cliche, but you focus on what you can control and, all the intangibles that you can just show all the coaches. I don't think it should be an issue, but I think pressure is built from outside circumstances. But as long as you perform and do what you can do on the inside, I don't even think it matters. Just let your light shine through, no matter what the case is. So, yeah.
Look, you two have brought incredible energy tonight. Y'all got me excited about this flight that's coming up Thursday to get out there to Chula Vista. I'm super beyond excited. But real quick, I want to get the final thoughts from both of you. If there's anything else that you wanted to touch on or any little piece of advice that you want to give before we get off, Jess, we'll start with you. Then Will, you can finish it up before we go.
Man, I'm just excited, CT. Like as you said, I'm a different beast. I'm excited for registration, right? I'm excited to shake everyone's hand and meet their parents and guide them through, give an overview of the weekend. So, I think come with energy, right? When you see people with USA shirts on or otherwise, look them in the eye, shake their hand, introduce yourselves. Because I think that's part of it, right? The opportunity to meet people from across the globe in one space, some of the best in the world. And look, some of the people there will be coaches that aren't even affiliated with USA. They're some of the best in the world, right? It's just such an amazing event that take advantage of it, be professional, meet as many people as you can, and back to the beginning, have fun.
I love it. I love it. Wilson, we'll round it out with you here, Coach. Final thoughts, any little piece of advice that you want to give to the prospects as they make their way out to Cali this weekend?
Absolutely. Be proud. I mean, just the opportunity to, represent your country. That's something special. But at the end of the day, I know we keep touching on it, but be you, show us why we called you up there. Be genuine. And at the end of the day, you have to build bridges. Regardless if you make the team or not, this is not the end. This is only the beginning, because there's always the year after that or the year after that. The whole intent is for you to grow and get better. I know we have the gold standard, but that gold standard should be getting 1% better every single day, focusing on the fundamentals, technique. And I promise you, the byproduct of that will be winning on the field and off the field. So I'm looking forward to and super excited to meet everybody out there, and can't wait to get to work. Team USO,
Awesome.
Let's go.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you again so much for, one, bringing the energy, but two, getting everybody excited and introducing yourselves to the USA Football and the U.S. National Team family. We're in for an incredible weekend. Y'all travel safe. Have a good rest of your night, and I can't wait to see y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
Love y'all, boys. See you soon.
All right.
So I just wanted to say hi to you guys.
There he is.
So again, I just wanted to say hi. I won't be able to be on, but I wanted to say hi to you guys.
All good, man. We'll take
All
it.
right.
We'll take a
All
quick
right.
little hello. Good to see you, bro.
Yes.
We'll see you soon.
We'll see you guys soon.
All right.
All right.
All right, y'all. And with that, we will go ahead and dive directly into our live conversation. So again, my name is Charles Terwoodzo. I go by CT, head of play personnel for our U.S. national teams here at USA Football. And tonight we have a couple very, very special guests. Our 17U boys head coach, as well as our 17U boys assistant coach, our quality control coach, Al 2K. He is unavailable. He's getting ready to go out there to practice. But again, that's another big piece of this staff. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick it over to our staff. Coach Chris, you can start. Again, name, your role, a little bit of your coaching background, and then your experience with the national teams.
I'm Chris Hughes. I'm from Tennessee. You may be able to tell that by how I'm talking. I am the head coach, but honestly, Richie and I are doing it together. So we're both on the same level. I'm going to do the offense. Richie's going to do the defense, and we're going to plan and do everything together, including the selection process. My experience in flag, I've been playing for over 40 years at a high level, and I also have been coaching high school girls flag for 5 years. I've been coaching tackle football for 27 years, boys. So there's my experience with boys, which I go to 7-on-7 with my teams every year. So I've had a lot of experience in that as well. And basically, have a wife and 3 kids, and living a blessed life, and excited to get going with USA Flag. My experience in the USA Flag is the Select Bowl last year. I coached the 23U women's team, and we won gold. And so that's my experience as far as USA football.
Awesome. And real quick, we'll pass it now to our assistant coach this year with the incredible mustache, Mr. Richard Delgado.
I'm just trying to keep up with my guy CT over here. Looking fresh and clean always. I'm Coach Richie. But I am based out in Aledo, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas, Texas. And I've my coaching background, or my experience with flag football is I've played for a while. Wasn't as good as my guy Chris here, but I dabbled a little bit, and then had some fun with it, and then started getting involved in coaching. So I coach at a charter school, a high school boys charter school out in Frisco. And that is because it's a charter school, they do flag football. So we've won a couple of area championships and so on and so forth with them. And then I also had started my own club flag football team with called Can't Lose Flag Football. Did that for some time, and then now I'm coaching with Texas Fury for high school girls for the Dallas area. And we're kind of doing the run of the gambit right now. But yeah, and then my experience with USA Football is did 14U boys last year for Select Bowl, been at a couple of talent IDs, so had great experiences there, and then got lucky to get paired up with Chris, and we're excited for this weekend for sure.
Awesome. No, I'll say this, right? I think that this staff as a whole is one of the most complete staffs, right? I think that you all embody exactly what it is that we're looking for from a national team perspective, and you come at it from all different angles. And we're excited to have the conversation tonight. So again, as we dive into these questions, you'll be hearing directly from our U.S. national team coaches that are going to be on site operating our trials and making the selections out here at Chula Vista. So with that, the first question, Chris, we'll start with you here. What are you most looking forward to at this year's national team trials?
Looking forward to seeing these guys compete and seeing all the talent out there. But I really want to see the competition and see how these guys do going against each other and how they enjoy it and how they play hard and that effort and just everything that comes with competing. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Awesome. Richie, we'll turn it to you as well as far as what you're most anticipating or looking forward to at this year's trials.
Yeah. I mean, the competition's going to be high. I'm super pumped about that. I'm really excited to kind of see who comes out there and just is just a pure dog who just wants to compete, right? The talent's going to be there. I mean, we have some of the best athletes from across the country, and I'm super excited to see everybody in one field and kind of like and just see how everybody competes. And I mean, you're going to hear me say this a lot, but it's I'm like a big, I have like a what's your story kind of mentality. It's like, what story do you want to tell whenever you step into a room or when you step on the field? And I think I'm very excited to see what stories these guys tell.
I love it. And that's a great point, right? Because this isn't even the first chapter of the story, right? This is kind of the prelude, the index of the story, right? Trials is going to be extremely competitive. And as we've talked about throughout this evening tonight, this is going to be the most competitive group of athletes that we've ever seen at trials up until this point, and we expect that to continue to be the truth as we go towards 2028 and beyond. So with that, Chris, we'll hit you with the next question here. So from a coach's perspective, right, what should athletes expect as they start to make their arrivals at trials?
Just be together. Get all your business taken care of and get yourself mind and body ready to compete and getting all that little, getting to your place, getting everything organized, and then kind of let everything down and let's just focus on flag for 3 or 4 days. And that's going to be your best chance to make the team is to just lock in. And so I would say that whatever you do to get mentally prepared, some people like to listen to music, some people like to meditate, some people like to watch a movie, whatever it is, get your mind ready for those mental, all of that competition and all the mental strain is going to take it and give your best effort.
I love it. Richie, we'll pass that same question to you. As far as your perspective, what should athletes expect when they arrive at trials?
One of the biggest takeaways that I got from Select Bowl, which is like a good prelude to this, right, is energy, right? And I think energy is going to be huge. It's going to be important. The other thing that I think we should expect is just a very high level, high standard professional environment where we're trying to figure out who's the best of the best and how you carry yourself, character, all of that. It all plays into that. So I think the biggest expectation everybody should have is that myself, Coach Hughes, Al, we've all put so much, and all the other coaches all put so much time and effort to making all the little things right, and the expectations should be the same for them.
That's a great point. Awesome. And we'll dive into the next question here, right? So as far as the caliber of athlete, we've already touched on it a handful of times in this conversation already. We know that every player that's going to be there could potentially be a contributor for the U.S. national team. That's why they're invited to trials, right? So this question is more or less based on that pool that we have. What's going to separate the good players from the great players, from the exceptional players? Like, what's your take on that? And actually, we'll have Richie start with this one, and then Chris, you'll follow up here.
I'm going to say that, I mean, there's 3 things, and CT, you kind of know where I'm going with this, but it's energy, effort, and execution, right? And I think those are the 3 components that I think in general are going to be looking for, and that comes from everything. And I think that is a great baseline for how you want to tell your story, right? And I think like, what effort are you willing to give, even when you're tired? Like, what does that look like for you, when knowing that like the water break isn't going to be when you want it, but how are you going to push through and figure it out, right? Like, effort for me and for all the coaches are going to be non-negotiable. That's what we're looking for because that's what's going to set you apart from everybody who's on the same playing field as you. Coachability is going to be a big thing for me, right? For us, it's going to be how are you willing to take feedback and apply it on the next rep, knowing that you aren't going to have enough time to digest it, right? Like, you literally need to apply it on the next rep. And so we're going to give you quick feedback, apply it on the next rep. And we want to know how you do that, because think about it. We're like, every other country has a whole year to work on this. We literally only have a few weekends to do it. So how are you digesting it and how are you moving on from it? And so I think that is the big piece for me. But again, like, consistency, I could go on and on, right? Consistency, effort, energy, and just little things. That's execute the little things.
Love it. That's a great in-depth answer. Chris, we'll ask you the same question. As far as what's going to separate good from great from excellent, what type of things are you looking for in the players that are going to be at trials this year?
That's real good, going right after Richie, because Richie and I have talked about this a 1,000 times, so he knows all the things, and he hit almost everything. I will say this. I have these little catchy phrases, and I always say effort and attitude will reflect your altitude. You're going to go as far and as high as your attitude and your effort take you. And I will say this, we may not keep the best 12 players in the world. We're going to keep the best 12 teammates that can play together and win a gold medal. So you need to think about that with your attitude all the time, being a good teammate. Teamwork makes the dream work, all those kind of things. So when you come in, not only I want you to try to excel in you and be that dog, but I also want you to lift up the right people around you and make them be dogs with you.
That's a great one. I love it. I think that you guys both just touched on some really, really good points as far as effort goes as well, right? Because we all know those athletes that come out, they think that it's their birthright that they belong on X, Y, and Z team. You got to come out and you got to prove it, rep after rep, down after down, drive after drive, day after day, until you ultimately accomplish the goal that you're looking for, right? No one's going to be given anything. So I love that answer from both of you. Okay, Coach Chris, we'll start with you for this one. As far as professionalism during this process and an athlete's mindset, how much does that weigh into the overall evaluation of these players at trials?
It's going to be huge. Being professional, being where you need to be on time, being attentive, paying attention, giving the best rep when you get the chance, and encouraging others when you're not getting the reps. All of those little things are going to factor in, but it is so important that you be very, like I said, locked in and focused, and having the best attitude and the best behavior. Body language is going to be huge. Those type of things we're going to be looking at. And like you said, CT, somebody that if you think you're really good, well, guess what? There's 37, 38 other people think they're really good too. So bring it and do it in a positive way that we can see not only how good you are, but how good a teammate you would be.
That's a great one. Richie, I'll ask you the same question, right? So how important is mindset and professionalism during the trials process?
It's everything, right? I mean, I think Coach Hughes hit the nail on the head, but I in general, I just think talent without professionalism won't last in this environment, right? And I think talent without good character isn't going to last in this environment, because you're not going to mesh well with your teammates. We're going to see that, all of these things. And mainly it won't last because your body language will be bad, your communication will be horrible. So I mean, I think in general, it is huge that everything is, you look at everything from a different perspective, and you never look at anything with a negative intent, right? And I think that is huge for me. So body language, communication, leaders, like if you're a new athlete, or if you're returning, and we want to see, actually, Coach Hughes and I just talked about this. We want to see how you're bringing the others along now that haven't been there, right? And we want to know if that you're able to do it with this group of people, right? And I think that's huge for us. And then resilience, man. Like, you're going up against some dogs, so like you're going to drop something. You may throw a pick, you may miss a flag, but how are you coming back from it? And I think that all goes back to mindset and professionalism.
I love it. And just so this whole group and everybody that's on the live today, watching understands, right? One of the things that our national team and our high performance department has been tasked with is professionalizing what we do and continuing to take this to the next level. So underlining what Chris just said, underlining what Richie just said, body language, communication, leadership, resilience, all those things are going to be very, very important pieces of the puzzle when it comes to trials process as well as the evaluation. And then real quick, before I jump into this last question here, again, for those folks that are tuned in live, for the folks that are going to be tuning in a little bit later, if you are on the live, do not hesitate to shoot in any additional questions that you have regarding any of the stuff that we're covering today in relation to USA football or trials process. Either one of our great coaches on the call tonight, we'd love to answer those questions for you as well. And with that, we'll go ahead and dive into the fifth question. As far as advice that you would give athletes, what would be a little piece of advice that you'd give them to best prepare before they step onto the field at trials? And Chris, I'll let you start with this one.
My advice is, buddy, do your best and be at your best. And when I say that encompasses everything. Be at your best as far as your demeanor, your attitude, your effort, everything. Just be at your best. Give everything you've got, because you're already one of the best 40 players that we've evaluated. So just being here, you're a winner. So now be at your best. And the last thing I would say is have fun. This is a great experience. We're all blessed to be in this situation. You've got a chance to represent your country in a game that I absolutely love. Is my favorite game in the entire world. So have a good time and be ready to come and work hard and enjoy yourself.
Love it. And then Richie, I'll ask you the same question before we jump into the couple that we've caught through the chat here. But the question, Richie, is what piece of advice would you give to an athlete to best prepare them before they step on the field at trials this year?
Operationally or tangibly, it's going to be whether or not you're staying hydrated, you're conditioned, and so on and so forth. So the assumption is that you're coming into this already physically prepared. So because everybody else is probably going to be. So I hope you've done your work. So but I mean, my coach used to always say fatigue exposes the lack of preparation. So so I think always know that you need to come into it prepared. And I think being tired it just shows that you aren't prepared. And I think mental readiness, study the game, know who you're going up against. I think actually, funny enough, some of the coaches in the last lives mentioned that too. It's just like knowing who you're going up against, knowing the game, even watching previous film is going to be huge. I mean, knowing just flag football in general, like if you are coming from contact, which we have a couple of athletes that are, like if you're coming from contact, I think it's important for you to understand flag football, right? So how are you studying the game? And we will recognize if you're even making an effort in that, right? And I think that is going to be huge. But then also the last big thing is going to be understanding the expectations. The standard is a standard, and we're not deviating from it. And I think at the end of the day, our job as coaches is to keep the standard high and figure out a way to get you there, but we're not lowering the standard for you. So
I love it. I think, and to underline the piece that you just mentioned there, Richie, it's understanding the game and the environment that you're coming into, right? I mean, we know that all the athletes that are going to be in Chula Vista this coming weekend are going to be exceptional players who understands 5-on-5 non-contact rules the best, right? There's a subtle nuances of the game that matter. And frankly, if you just go on YouTube, you can type in 5-on-5 non-contact. You can watch what our men just were able to do at Super Bowl, a couple of weeks back, or even at World Games, whatever the case may be. Take a look at that stuff because it's out there for you to, sharpen your game, sharpen your tools before you head out there. Okay, a couple good questions that we had come in from the chat. This one's for you, Chris. So everyone on the flag adult circuit knows you as a quarterback. The question is, in what ways do you think being an elite level quarterback helps you out as a coach?
Well, I'm calling the offense, and I know what works to score. So, and I play a lot of 5 and 5 Olympics. So, again, I don't have the same tools as some of these young guys are going to have. But I think concept-wise and strategy-wise, I've seen it all. Everything I got, I stole from somebody that beat me. So I'm not prideful and say I know. And listen, if a quarterback comes in and he says, I like this play, coach, then we're running that play. I just believe I don't know everything, but I will say by being around it all, I've played against Hoosh, I played against Velt, I played against the guys on the national team, I played against Mark. I played against the best of the best. So I know what they can do. My legs don't allow me to do that, but my mind works good and I can see. So if these guys got that kind of talent, I'll put it to work.
I love it. No, that's a great, thorough answer too. I mean, that's perfect. That's a perfect example of taking something that you've experienced and then putting it in the coaching realm and utilizing it and exploiting it. I'll kind of retool that question for you, Richie, as far as you've been able to coach some of the best flag teams and some of the best flag programs. As those that don't know, Texas Fury just won Oakley Icon Alliance here recently. So Richie, what are you taking from your experience coaching that level of athletes and now to the national team?
I think the big thing that I'm taking is recognizing how much people care. And I think that sounds so arbitrary, right? But I think we as coaches can sort of identify that throughout experience along the way. But I think that is the biggest takeaway that I have. I think the X's and O's, yes, like sure, I take that away from playing. I take that away from coaching and like learning from my mistakes and then learning from people like Chris. But I think at the end of the day, identifying how much you care, I think, is a skill that coaches have that we forget about. And I think I think part of the reason that we're in the place that we are now is because we've recognized the people that do care, and we've learned how to harness that and grow that. And I think that's the little things that I speak about whenever from my experience.
That's great. No, that's great application of that as well. Okay, another question that we have from the group, Chris, we'll start with you. What would you tell a first-time trials athlete who may be worried they're not getting the looks that they need in order to demonstrate their talents in order to make the team?
I tell them I'm a first-time trials coach, so you're gonna get all the looks because I have no preconceived notions. I'm not looking at anybody. As far as when we get there, everybody's starting on an even playing field. So, and I will say, hey, the reps you get. What I really like is Richie has worked his tail off, making sure we've got everybody going to get the same amount of reps. So you're not going to have that problem with us because we're going to be so organized. You're going to go, oh man, I've got a defensive rep. Oh well, man, I'm on offense this time. We're going to put you out there. If you're wanting to play a position you haven't played, then let one of us know. We want to give you the best chance to make the team. And look, we're doing this together. So even if you don't make the team, we're hoping this experience will make you a better player.
That's a great one. That's a great point there. Richie, I'll ask you the same question. As far as an athlete who may be worried that they're not getting the looks in order to demonstrate their talents, what would be your message to those type of players?
Control what you can control. I mean, you can spend a lot of time worrying about that, but I think at the end of the day, that's going to impact what your next rep looks like. So I think you truly have to control what you can control. So, but like Chris said, we've worked really hard to try to make sure that everybody gets the same amount of reps and everybody gets the same amount of looks and has the same amount of opportunities. It is up to you to decide.
With different
quarterbacks.
Yep.
And again, like we have a lot of quarterbacks coming, and so we've mastered the formula to where I feel like we've mastered the formula to where we can put different receivers with different quarterbacks and see how they perform with them, and so on and so forth. But I think the big thing from like a mindset perspective is if you're worried about your reps, it's not going to bode well for you. Like just keep focusing on what your next rep looks like, because I promise you we have it handled.
And CT, the guys that are going to make the team are the ones going to have good reps, no matter who they're out there with. That's who we're looking for. We're looking for that. I don't want you to hear I didn't get the reps. I want to know I got 3, and you noticed me when I did those 3.
I love it. Well, look, I'm gonna be honest. The 2 things that I just heard from both of those responses is 1, communicate. So if you feel like there's something that's going on, have a conversation. But also, there's no place to hide, boys. When you get out there to the grass, it's time to go. Because they got it set up to where everybody's going to get reps, everybody's going to get looks, and you're going to be evaluated off what you're able to do with the opportunities that you're given, right? So I love it. Okay, last thing is really just final thoughts for either, right? So is there anything else that you guys want to leave with this group? I know there's some people that are watching on live. There's some prospects that are looking forward to getting on those planes Thursday to get out there. So is there anything else that you want to leave as far as pieces of advice to the attendees and the prospects going to Chula this weekend?
I want you to be excited to be here. I want you to thank your parents. I want you to thank everybody that helped you get here and be grateful. I'm very grateful for this. You know, this experience is going to be awesome. Be grateful and come into it with that mindset that this is going to be absolutely awesome, and enjoy the heck out of it, because life's too short not to enjoy it. This is something you're going to look back on when you get old and go, man, that was a good experience.
I love it. Richie?
Yeah, my big thing's going to be going back to my original point about telling your story. A little bit of context is that, like, I think every single person on the USA football staff has a story to tell, and every single thing that we do, we tell that story. So that applies also in, like, them stepping onto the field, or how they treat their parents, how they treat their coaches. Are they being coachable? Are they taking the feedback, how they're applying it? Like, that is you're telling a story with every single action that you create, you do when you step on that field. And at the moment you step off that plane, you're telling the story that your parents helped set up for you. So, and laid that foundation for you to do, right? And I think, and all of your coaches along the way have done, right? And I think my biggest thought is what is the story you want to tell? Like, because this is just a notch in that book, right? But I think the big piece to it is like, understand the moment, love the opportunity, and just know that you're not afraid to be out. You're not afraid to outwork somebody. And I think that is the story that we want to see. But at the end of the day, I think, like, I have a story that has brought me to here, right? And I think I use that story every day, right? And I think they need to do that as well. Know your story, but then be able to tell that know how you want to tell that story. And I think that's my ultimate thought.
I love it. Well, gentlemen, first and foremost, appreciate you both jumping on tonight, shedding some light, dropping some crumbs. Again, this is both of y'all's first trial, so cannot wait to get everybody out there on the grass, and I'm excited to see y'all. So travel safe. In the meantime, make sure that you pack all your national team stuff. It's going to be warm. So just dress accordingly, and we're looking forward to seeing y'all.
All right. Thanks, CT.
All right,
Thanks,
y'all.
CT.
Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
You too.
This is our official 17U girls coaching staff for our junior national teams. My name is Charles Terwoodzo. I am head of player personnel here at USA Football for our U.S. national teams. And today, essentially, what we're going to do, we're going to have a little bit of behind the scenes. We're going to introduce all of our coaches that are going to be out at trials at Chula Vista this coming weekend, representing our 17U girls national team, which this entire staff is fresh off of a gold medal at Junior National Cup. So we're looking to defend that, and the defense begins this weekend. So, again, my name is Charles Terwoodzo. I go by CT. I'm going to pass it around the horn here and allow our coaches to introduce themselves. So, coaches, when you get your opportunity, please just kind of give us your first name, first and last name, your position, and then your coaching experience. So, Coach Saunders, the head coach, will give you the floor first.
Joshua Saunders. I'm the head coach of the 17U junior national team on the girls side. I coach a high school team, Robinson High School in Tampa. I also coach the women's club team at the University of Florida.
Awesome.
I'll go. Hi, everybody. I'm Nadia Bibbs. I'm the assistant coach of the 17U girls junior national team. This is my second year on the coaching staff, coming over from actually playing on the women's national team as well.
Hello, my name is Angelica Grayson. A lot of people call me Jelly or Coach Jelly or Coach Grayson, and I am the quality control coach for the 17U junior national team. This is my third cycle. My first cycle was in 2024 as the assistant coach. Last year was a talent evaluator. This year I'm quality control with Nadia and Joshua.
Perfect. And with that, again, everyone that's jumping on here live tonight, so we are live on YouTube currently. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the conversation. If you have any questions pertaining to our process, specifically by any of the coaches that just introduced themselves, please don't hesitate. Throw your questions in the chat, and we'll get to those as we run through the full run of show here. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump into the first question. Coach Saunders, we'll ask you this first, then we'll kind of roll around the entire group. But Josh, what are you most looking forward to at this year's junior national team trials in Chula Vista?
I think we're super excited about people competing. right? This is an opportunity. This is an exciting chance for 38 very talented girls to go out there and compete. It is really impressive as we walked around and we saw, people at Oakley and we saw at Worlds and just a lot of the players that we have selected for tryouts to show up at this one event. And it's going to be the best of the best. And so watching 4 days of just people just getting after it and playing really hard, that's the thing I'm most excited about, just seeing that competition level go from where they play at their normal and their host teams and playing at a even higher level when everybody around you is really good.
Love it.
Yeah. I would say that as well. Just to piggyback off that, the competition level is going to be super high, but I'm really looking forward to seeing just some players just pop up out of nowhere or just give us that excitement to say, who's this kid, and really ask some questions and kind of stir the pot. So I want to see who those players are this trials.
I'm the same way. The competition is going to be big. That's going to be the key word you're going to hear is competition. And it's basically going to be, dog versus dog, iron sharpens iron. And so we're going to see what they put out there on the gridiron.
Awesome. No, absolutely. I think that you all nailed it, right? This is going to be, without question, the deepest, most talented group for our 17U girls side. So they're going to be talented all over the field. So we're definitely all excited about that for sure. Which kind of puts me into the next question. And Jelly, we'll start with you since you just finished up there. From a coach's perspective, again, this entire staff is coming off of a gold medal at JIC, and you were all working together before. All of you have had now multiple years underneath your belt with the national team. So what should athletes expect, and what should the prospects be aware of as they make their way out to Chula Vista for this year's trials?
I would definitely say when they first get out there, get their mind right, get their mind together. Don't minimize yourself when you see somebody else that does some awesome things, because you can do some awesome things as well. And when you get out there, you make these mistakes, and you're going to make them. That's inevitable. You're going to make the mistakes, but it's how you're going to respond from the mistakes. That's the things that I like to look at is when you do mess up, how do you bounce back from that mess up? Do you kick rocks, or do you have self-positive talk to yourself? And when they go out there to Chula Vista, it's California. You got to have a good day. It's going to be beautiful weather every single day. And so going out there, doing their thing, being competitive, bouncing back from the mistakes, and just having their mind right, and also getting some rest before they even get out there this week.
Love it. And babe, before you jump in here, Jelly, I want to underline something that it seems to be a reoccurring piece that all of our staffs tonight have talked about. It's how do you respond when things don't go your way, right? As we all know in life and in the game of football, not every single rep is going to be your best rep, and that's okay. The question is, how are you going to respond? And then, what are you going to do the next play and the play after that in order to put yourself in the best position to be successful? So, Nadia, we'll go to you, right? So what should athletes expect when they arrive at trials?
I think they're just going to expect to have to compete. There's going to be 4 practices that we've designed and structured for them to compete every moment of that practice. These kids are coming here being, the number 1 player on their high school team or their club team, and now they're coming here and it's a bunch of players at their skill level. So what are they going to do to stand out? What are they going to do to compete? How are they going to bounce back when they have those mistakes or when they get beat on a play? We're going to be really paying attention to just how they respond to adversity.
Awesome. And then Coach Saunders, we'll go to you, same question as far as what they should expect at trials.
Yeah, I think they can expect to be coached, in certain aspects, but there are some things that we shouldn't have to coach at this level, right? We're not coaching effort. Like everybody is going to work their face off. And so one of the things that the athletes can certainly expect is that when they show up, it is full effort all the time. Every drill, every opportunity, you get 4 practices, you get a training session. You have to be willing to go 100% at every step of the way the entire time. The worst thing that you could ever kind of have is have a coach be like, man, I'm not sure they were trying. Like, I can't imagine that being a thing. So I think that's a pretty key part. And the other thing that I think that always amazes me, and it probably shouldn't, but how supportive everyone is of each other when they're there. Like we're out here competing for spots for sure. But part of that competition piece is you got to be a great teammate. And you got to be a great teammate through 4 critical sessions. And are you picking up your teammate when they go, when they make a mistake? Are you, congratulating when they make a great play, or are you the person that is kind of so inside your head that you're worried about, oh, what does that mean for me if the same person who played my position made a great play? And while we are 38 people all trying to make a team, we're one team. We're the USA national team, and that is a big deal. And the opportunity to wear that on your chest means you got to exude pride for all your teammates the entire time.
That's a great point. That's a great point, Josh. I think, that's one point that we don't underline enough. Frankly, it's the evaluation is not just how you perform when you're being targeted as a wide receiver, or how you pull flags on the defensive side, or how you deliver a football. The evaluation extends to the type of teammate that you're going to be, because at the end of the day, when you get to Junior International Cup, if you're in the semis, you're in a gold medal game, you have to be not only an elite player, you have to be an elite caliber teammate as well, because you have to be able to lean on each other and know that there's folks that you can lean on when things get a little bit tough, because it's part of the game. That's a really good point. Okay, next question for me here is what separates, and Josh, you can start here, but what would you say separates a good athlete from a great athlete at trials? Again, knowing that these are the top 38 to 40 players in the country, everybody is an all-star in their own right, coming from their own teams. But as far as the evaluation portion goes, what would you say separates a great player a good player from a great player from an exceptional player?
It's consistency. Is being able to do the little things over and over and over again every single time. If you follow every one of these kids' Instagrams, man, everybody's making highlight catches, one-handed catches, diving flag pulls. I want to make sure you can catch a 7-yard hitch every single time. Can we make that flag pull every time? Do we always have good technique when we're playing corner? That is the thing that separates good from great, because it's the ability to do the same thing over and over and over again, and constantly being counted on. And so that's one of the things that I personally will be looking for, right? The one-handed plays are going to be amazing. The things that we post on Instagram are going to be fantastic. But in reality, the thing that doesn't get posted, the thing that is the little detail, the thing that is the part that gets you into a good down and distance, right? That doesn't show up on the feed. That's the thing that's how you win games.
That's a great point. Nadia, we'll go to you as far as what separates some of the greats from just being good.
Yeah, I think the players that really put in, to Josh's point, consistency is effort. If you're putting in 110% effort every single play, every single time, that's going to set you apart. As well as, are you paying attention to details? Like when we go through drills, are you paying attention to how we're saying to run the routes, how we're saying to, backpedal or play a coverage? Because that's really what sets them apart. Like there's going to be tons of athletes. There's going to be tons of, players that can make plays, but what are you doing in addition to that? And then also versatility. Like the more positions you can play, the more opportunities you have to get on the field. So being versatile
Nadia,
definitely helps.
The willingness to be versatile. If you get asked to do something you aren't comfortable with, are you willing to go put yourself in an uncomfortable position in a tryout to do something? That is a fantastic point.
Love it. Love it. Kelly, what's your take on it?
I'm a quote person. CT, you're gonna like this quote because we talked about it before. We're talking about the minor details between a good athlete and a great athlete, right? So big things are accomplished only through the perfection of minor details by John Wooden. So if we shouldn't have to say hustle on and off the field. We shouldn't have to say on the hop every time we leave from each other. We shouldn't have to say those minor things, because those are those minor things that can lead to a bigger thing, which is a championship, which is a gold medal. So having all those things, the difference between a great athlete and just a mediocre athlete is doing the minor things correctly and doing the small things that you might think is too small to pay attention to. Those are the things that's going to make you great.
I love it. And you're absolutely right. So as a Purdue grad myself, we live by the John Wooden pyramid of success. And that's one of the pillars of the pyramid of success. Additionally, Biz, what you just talked about there, right? The ability to be willing and open to contribute in different ways that you may not be accustomed to. That's going to be huge. And Josh, you underline that piece as well. I think all those are really, really good points and stuff that we're going to be looking forward to coming up in these next couple of days. Okay, next question for me is going to be, so how important would you say is a professional mindset during this process? And Coach Saunders, we'll start with you there.
I think it's probably always important, right? Like you are here. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for some people, right? Like this is an opportunity for you to be part of the U.S. national team. Like that is like when you say it, that should kind of get your blood going and be super excited about it. So you want to make sure that you're utilizing every opportunity that you possibly can. And so being a professional through all of that, and that goes to Nadia's point of making sure that you're listening at orientation and making sure you're on time and making sure that you're doing all of the things that you're supposed to do in order to give yourself the best chance so that you can be selected to be in the top 18. And I think, because it's easy to remove people for not being professional. That's easy. Like the second somebody's not professional, then you're like, okay, great, because everybody's talented. Right. So why would you want to have to deal with somebody who might not show up on time or might not listen in a meeting or might not, it's that to me, that's an easy way to get you eliminated. Being professional is like the cover charge to get you in the building. And then once you're in the building, that's when it's time to go to work.
Great point. Well said. Well said, Coach. Nadia, we'll go to you from there.
Yeah, I just want to double down on that. Like it's a requirement. Like if you're not professional, if you've always got bad body language, you're communicating in a poor fashion, like you can't represent USA. Like that is an absolute requirement and the first thing to get you out the door. You can be the greatest athlete on the planet, but you won't be able to represent the team here.
Your attitude, your how you walk, how you talk, and there's a difference between confident and cocky. There is, but be confident in everything that you do. Walk like you're confident, talk like you're confident, but do that without belittling someone else.
I like it. And I guess one thing too, I meant to mention after the last response, Bibbs, you talked about it a little bit. We used to call it stealing reps, right? So if you're not actively on the field, you can still get a mental rep. You're not going to hurt anybody, right? The idea is to be engaged for the full duration of trials, and as many reps as that you can possibly steal while you're on the sideline, steal every single one of them, because that's just going to make sure that one, you're engaged and you are where your feet are, but two, when it is your time to line up out there on the grass, you're ready to go, right? Because you've already been taken mentally.
Like don't step on the field and just make the same mistake that somebody else just made in front of you. Like learn from watching.
Absolutely. And actually, real quick, Bibbs, kind of to go off script here, but just a question based on your experience playing with the national team. As a former player, what would you say would be a couple things that you've taken from your days playing that you're now kind of tailoring and utilizing as a coach for the national team?
Just really understanding like how to prepare, how to be ready, really focusing on the tangibles, like I mentioned earlier. So just the minor details, like when I played, I wasn't the most athletic person on the team, but I paid attention. I was smart. I paid attention to the details on like how to, run defenses and how to run scrimmages and like off script like that. But I think just coming in and paying attention to details and letting yourself stand out, but amongst the others really puts you ahead of the game.
Love it. I love it. We do have a couple other questions that are coming in here, so I'm going to ask these here in a second after we move to the next portion of the question. So other question would be, and Coach Saunders, you can start here, but what advice would you give an athlete in order to get them more prepared before stepping onto the field at trials?
Yeah, so I think all of it's mental, right? You're not going to do anything in the next 2 days that are going to physically get you more prepared than you were supposed to be before. And I think the biggest thing I would suggest for this particular thing is you got to be where your feet are. Your feet are going to be in Chula Vista at this moment. And it's easy to think about what happens on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever day it is that you're going to be told if you're in the 18. And then if you go from 18 to 12, but be right here, right there in that moment and take full advantage and embrace this entire opportunity you've been given, leave it all out there and just be exactly where you're supposed to be and let everything else figure the rest of it out. You're not in charge of all of that as a player. You are in charge of doing the best you possibly can. And if you can do that part, then you're going to be gold for the rest of the time. And then going forward, regardless of whether you're on the 18 or wherever you land in this story.
Love it. And real quick, Josh, I got one follow-up for you. Again, coming off of a successful cycle last year and winning a gold medal with the 17U girls at the Junior International Cup in Los Angeles last year, Are you going into trials with a different mindset, or are you going to kind of the same tools and the same vision? I guess what's your take on that?
No, I think every team's obviously going to be different. We have, we had 12 phenomenal players, and 5 of them left and 7 of them were returned. One's hurt. So we have 6 that return, but those 6 have to be ready to both lead, both on and off the field, and be the leaders that we would expect them to be, since they have been through all the fire before. But in terms of the makeup of the team and how all of that will play out, it's a fresh new slate, I think. And I think that, we're not taking anything from last year that comes with us, and certainly no, Donnie and I talk about it quite a bit. It's wildly important for us to win. That's kind of how I live my life. So it's, so making sure that we're constantly being critical of how our process and how we're doing everything is super important to what we're doing, and getting that to the players as well.
I love it. That's a great perspective. That's great perspective coming off of a gold. Back to the original question, Jelly. Well, I'll let you answer that. But again, what advice would you give to any athlete as they prepare to take the field at trials in Chula Vista this weekend?
Understand that you may have some growing pains, and I mean growing pains as in you're learning, you're getting outside your comfort zone, especially those who just want to play one side of the ball or those who just want to play one position. Get out your comfort zone so you can grow a little bit. And in order to grow, you got to get rid of old ways. And so whatever old ways you had before you got to us, try to change those ways, because it's gonna show its head if you don't try intentionally to grow. And so to leave it with that, that's actually an acronym: GROW, get rid of old ways. So if you can get rid of old ways, you can definitely be successful with any team.
That's a great acronym. I'm gonna have to use that one. I'm gonna keep that one in the back pocket. I love it. So Josh answered that. Jelly answered that. Bibbs, over to you. So what advice would you give athletes as they prep for this year's trials?
So the biggest advice I would give to the players coming in is just be mentally prepared that you are going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. You're not going to be perfect. It's about how you respond. It's about how, if you stay locked in or if you get mentally down, what you do to recover. How do you rebound from that? And honestly, that's probably the biggest thing that I could say. You see a lot of players kind of get in their head and they sulk and they, go down after that. But how do you respond? How do you make a play after that?
I like it. Right now, I'm going to jump into a couple questions that got sent into the chat here. So shout out to the chat for engaging. Jelly, this one is for you. So as a master motivator, what tips would you give these athletes in order to bring their best selves to trials? You just kind of touched on it, but it kind of reworded the question a little bit there on you.
Many people say bring your A game. I'm the exact same way, but I like to also say bring your 8 game, bring the right attitude, have a sense of pride in what you're doing, and make sure you elevate yourself and those who are around you. So if you can bring those 3 things, is going to take you far, far. Whether you make the team or not, it's going to take you far, far away. Far away in a good way, as far as being a part of this team or being part of any other team that you want to be a part of. So bring your 8 game. Attitude, sense of pride, elevate yourself, and elevate those who are around you.
That's a good one. I like that. You're just full of acronyms and quotes tonight. I'm here for it. I love it. Okay, good. So Coach Saunders, I'll hit you with this next one from the chat here. This is from Michael Better, also known as the Rush King. So for anyone on the panel, Josh, we're going with you. With all that transpires over the weekend of trials, what would you say is the most difficult portion of trials as an athlete that's trying to advance?
I think the competition piece sometimes, because you're going to be moved around from team to team. You're going to be, if you're a receiver, you're going to be with a bunch of different quarterbacks. You're going to be with people you're not used to being with. And I think every player that participates kind of gets in a comfort zone with the people that they normally play with. And now you're playing with people who are a little bit different. And the way that, if you're a quarterback, the way somebody runs a particular route might not be what you're used to. And so you being able to make that adjustment and being able to work with other people around you that isn't exactly what you're used to. And then, like everybody said, being able to rebound, I think, and being able to make those in-game adjustments so that you can help lead that individual team, whatever team that was in that particular case, to have successful experiences, I think is pretty important. And you might end up on a tough team. and it might not go particularly well. And it might be a situation where it's Saturday night and you think that, oh, I have to have a really good session here. And then it's not particularly going well. And are you wearing that, or are you kind of working through that and trying to, even without being on your best, having your best game or your best team, are you still contributing to the team? And I think that's a really tough time. And I think that's a really tough moment a lot of times for players, because when your expectation doesn't match where you think it's supposed to be, then it can be a little bit difficult. And how do you handle that part of it?
I love that. No, I think you're absolutely right, Josh. You touched on a couple things there. It kind of exposes the true character of the player, right? I mean, anybody can be a great player when they're up, when they're the front runner, when you're on a gold medal team. But who can be that player when, you know, you're behind the 8 ball and you're between a rock and a hard place to that point? It's really going to determine who you are, and it's going to show the true character of an athlete, and you're going to be evaluated on that. So I'm glad you brought that point up. Another question here from the chat, Bibbs. I think that this is a really good one for you, just because you've been able to be successful at the Select Bowl in addition to a national team. So it says, what is the biggest difference between the Select Bowl versus the national teams?
Big difference. I mean, I think they're both competing at a high level, right? They're still representing something. I think the national team just has a little bit more grit to it, in that you're actually representing Team USA. You know, you're coming together, cream of the crop of everybody across the country, and you're really competing at a high level, and it's just a lot more challenging. But the Select Bowl has a great grassroots program to help bring people across the country and to really allow exposure, to allow us to be able to evaluate these kids, to get them to a national team trial, which we're trying to find.
I love it. No, that's a great point. And for the individual that asked this question, great question. Kind of to dovetail a little bit off what Nadia's talking about here, right? She just nailed it. It's the grassroots level, but also it's an opportunity to showcase what you're able to do on the Select Bowl stage, to then potentially make it up to the national team stage as well. So I think she covered that really, really well. Okay, and then the last question that I have, as we're running up on time, got about 5 minutes left. I really want to give y'all an opportunity to, talk about any final thoughts. So any other pieces of advice that you want to leave with this group that's on the live, or that's going to be watching this a little bit later, as far as trials, USA football, whatever the case may be. But I'll have you start, Jelly, and then we can kind of go from there.
I'd like to leave everybody with dominate the details. If you dominate the simple things, you dominate the small things, everything else is going to fall into place like it's supposed to. Even if you do have a bad practice, learn from that practice and learn from the people in front of you, so that next day comes, you can sleep on it, think about it, and have a goldfish mind. You have remember it, but forget about it. Don't let it play into the next play, or don't let it play into the next day. So go into it, go hard, or you end up going home.
That's a good one. Coach Saunders, we'll go with you.
I think my message would be for the people who aren't coming to trials, right, that are watching this, that aren't going to be there, right? And maybe they're younger, or maybe they're, just didn't quite get it into it this cycle, right? Keep working on getting better every day, right? Keep working on, and maybe your final thing isn't a national trial. Maybe it's just, maybe it's being really good for your high school, or being really good for your club team. And if you're younger and you want to build up, then find a way to get to a talent ID camp, and find a way to, try to allow yourself to be seen, and put yourself out there, to allow yourself to be critiqued, because that means that you're going to grow. And I think that would be kind of the best way to continue pushing, because, man, this game is awesome. The game is great. And, and if we look back to where it was 5 years ago, and the explosion that has happened since, that's crazy. And so there is a ton of opportunities for any young person that wants to really invest in this. And it's not one of those things that you can just kind of show up and do. To be at this level, you have to be the best of the best. And that requires you to do things that people aren't doing. And so find ways to go out and do those things. And if you and find coaches that you kind of believe in, and mentors that you believe in. And because I think all of those things are going to help push your game to a next level, regardless of where that level ends up.
That's a great point. I love that. That's good stuff. And then Nadia.
So this is for the players that are coming to trials. I'd say you have 4 practices to make an impression. You have 4 practices for have the coaches walk away, say, hey, that kid really put in a lot of effort, or that kid communicated well. You have 4 practices to have us walk away with an impression, and you have to think about what you want that impression to be.
Awesome. Well said. Well said, squad. Well, I appreciate the time this evening. The folks that were watching would never know that this team was a little bit camera shy coming into it, because y'all just absolutely crushed it. I know it was a late night, but y'all delivered, and I appreciate you. So travel safe, obviously, right? And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at Chula Vista here in the next couple of days.
You made it easy, CT. It was easy. You just
Right.
guys.
The moderator.
Right. Moderator of the
The
year.
moderator did it.
We're just talking ball. This is just another Monday night, y'all. But
Exactly.
have a good night, y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. All right.
All right. Thank
All right.
y'all.
See ya.
Peace.
All right, guys.
See ya.